welcome to Inspire Me 360. Great afternoon we're having here in lovely Calgary, Alberta. Obviously still in quarantine, so not as busy as we normally are at our campuses. Absolutely nobody here in the halls at all. But my two wiener dogs are here. They're currently locked in my office, so if you hear a little bit of whimpering in this video, that is those two little maniacs whimpering in the back. I know they don't love being away from their mom, so when I shoot a video, they kind of go a little bit crazy, but they are my little sidekicks and always with me wherever I go. Love those little guys. So the purpose of my video today, I think, is just really to talk to you again about inspiring you to be the best version of yourself you can be, and also to talk to a lot of the ladies out there. It's been on my mind for a long time. Obviously, I teach so many students at the schools that we have across North America. And one thing that I really want to speak to is just how important it is for us to pay attention to the image that we're creating. I know in my industry specifically, the idea of that sexualism that's going on right now, especially for young women, when we look at the music industry, when we look at, you know, some of the film industry, and there's that push for women to always be ultra sexy. I know myself, there's even that push to have that, you know, that glamour, to represent yourself in a certain way, and that's not bad. So I always kind of defer back to that beautiful period of time, that old Hollywood glamour, when the movie stars were glitzy, they were elegant, and, you know, definitely they were still very, very beautiful women, but they had a grace about them. They had a way about them where they would captivate and they would be very, very stunning and alluring without being sleazy. And I think nowadays it's really hard for young women and, you know, middle-aged women, older women, to really define what is sexy and what is appropriate, because I think what happens is, in this modern day era, we've objectified ourselves so much. And in my history, in my past, I certainly kind of waded through the waters of, like, how do I feel, you know, within my feminine self, and how do I empower myself to be an intelligent, capable, and somebody that other people can respect type of woman, and still be able to feel like, you know, when I walk into a room, I can turn heads. And I know definitely as I age, things change a lot. I know when I was younger, it's easy to be carefree and just have that like awe-inspiring kind of sexiness about yourself when you're young, you know, in your youth, kind of in the teen years and the early 20s and later 20s. But as you get older, it does, you kind of reflect on it a little bit differently. And I think as I've aged myself, I found that, you know, I'm really gravitating more towards just the confidence in knowing who I am on the inside, and definitely really paying attention to who I want to be on the outside. I love, you know, the glamour. I love fashion and beauty and everything, you know, in between. But I think that there's a very fine line. And, you know, when I'm looking at Instagram feeds and I'm looking at social media and just the way that women are representing themselves so often these days, I think that we've really gone past a point of no return in a lot of ways, where I think we need to kind of rein it back in and go back to those traditional values where you can still be, you know, you can still shine, you can still be glamorous, you can still have all of these aspects to being a woman, that fabulous energy to be female, without pushing it into the zone of like hypersexuality, you know, seeing the images of girls where, you know, they're looking back over their shoulder and all you see is a, you know, an image of their butt in a G-string, or, you know, like huge breasts popping out of every picture. The problem with that is that what we're saying to the outside world, or to the world at large, is that our value is that, our bum and our breasts, and not our intelligence, not our hearts, not everything that comes from the inside, our creativity, the things that we can create. It's so overshadowed by that. It's like in your face. It's like, here's my boobs, here's my butt. Like, you know, what else is there to offer when that's all you see? So I think it's something that, especially with my students and with female people that are in my life, people that I hope to sort of mentor, that's something that, you know, it's a hard topic to start a conversation about. You know, how do we feel great and sexy and, you know, all of these emotions that we want to feel, but still yet having that dignity about us, having that grace, acting in a way that we would like be proud for our grandmas to see the video, or proud for our parents, or, you know, people in our families to be able to look at the images that we're creating. And that's always a really good guidepost for me, is like, what would my grandma think of this image? You know, would she be proud? Is the image representing something that like definitely hits all the high notes of my moral character, what I want to create, what I'm putting out there? Because everything that we create, every image, every word, every post, it really embodies, I mean, not only the instant emotion of what we're feeling, but also, you know, from a broader aspect, that is, we're giving that all to the world. So every single minute that we're posting something, that can be judged, that can be, you know, that's something that somebody's gonna look at you and say, this is who you are. And so we have to be so incredibly careful with the imagery that we produce, and that we take everything really, really seriously, in the sense of, is that who I want to create? Is that the character that I want to mold? You know, when I'm marching down the road of life, kind of towards my final resting place, you know, what are they going to put on my gravestone? You know, she had a nice ass. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just not, to me, it's not profound enough. It's not epic enough. I mean, I want to be certainly thought of by the people in my life that I could put myself together well. You know, I didn't roll out of bed with like scruffy hair and, you know, I guess whatever. I mean, I was gonna say pimples, but I mean, when I was young, I had bad acne, and I still was a fabulous person despite whatever acne that I had. So I think that that's, you know, it's really who you are that shines through. And it's so very important for women of any age, you know, any race, any social status, to remember how we are projecting ourselves to the men in our lives. Because what we do is really, in a lot of ways, going to define how they treat us. You know, if they're treating us like we don't have a lot of value, or we're not, or we're cheap, or, you know, if they're treating us in a way that we feel devalued, we have to look at the image that we're projecting and saying, well, what kind of image am I projecting that's causing them to behave this way? You know, you do really have to be adherent to the goals at which you want to kind of end up at. Like, you know, if you're looking for true love and that's what you're going after, you don't want to be chatting with 17 guys. You know, you have to rein in some of those things. You have to forego the immediate pleasure of having everybody like everything you're doing for that end goal of finding something really genuine and wonderful. So, you know, I think there are a lot of ways that, especially in the next, you know, years, and as we grow as a human race, that we can really work on. I mean, we can reflect on sort of where we've been and say, hey, did it work for us? Are we liking what we're producing as a human species? Are we going in a good direction? Or, you know, was this like a little, you know, we dipped our toe into this world of everybody take their clothes off and everybody, you know, go crazy and date everybody and Tinder and all that stuff, but is it making us happy? Like, when we really drill down to that question, are we fulfilled? Is this the way that we want to live our lives? Or are we actually looking for something a little bit deeper, something a little bit more authentic and meaningful? And how do the seeds we plant, and I keep going back to that, how do those moments within our day add up to what we end up with at the end of our year, or at the end of our, you know, 10-year span, right? We really have to learn to ask to be respected and not tolerate disrespect from that standpoint of being a woman. And, you know, that goes both ways. Same for the guys. You know, if you feel like for some reason you're with a woman and she's not respecting you, you know, I've had conversations with my guy friends before, and, you know, they'll tell me what a scenario with a girl, you know, she's chatting to all these guys and this is happening and that's happening. But at the end of the day, you do have to have enough self-esteem to ask for respect, to set your boundaries, and to say, you know what, this is what I need as a human being. This is what I need to feel loved. And, you know, if you can't do that, that's fine. That doesn't make you a bad person. But, you know, we have to kind of piece out on this, because You have to find the parameters of your life that are going to create genuine happiness for you, where you feel like you have that support and that love, and you feel safe with the person that you're with. And that goes to all aspects of life. I mean, that's going to trickle down to, the job that you're in. Do you feel appreciated? Do you feel like the people that you work with give you a high five, tell you when you've done a great job? Is it a positive working environment, or is there a lot of negativity? What are we creating with each and every moment of our day that helps to trickle over into everything? Positive energy, it's contagious. It's infectious, and you just feel it. You can actually feel the vibrations in the room when people are happy and they're fulfilled. Just like negativity is so toxic. You get one person, and I've seen it myself in my companies, one person that is within the group that becomes toxic or negative, and they can really derail the whole energy of an organization. So you really have to pay attention to your thoughts, pay attention to how you're conducting yourself throughout the day, and what what you're charging towards. What are those goals? How are you creating in each and every moment the kind of life that you want to live? And so again, I can't say enough to the young women out there, because I know fashion, beauty, all of this in the industry, it is fun and it is glamorous, and I get it more than anybody. I mean, this is what we do. We teach beauty, we teach how to transform yourself. But one of the most powerful things that I always want to say to my student body and to anybody that is involved with the beauty industry is that it is about transformation of the inside first. You have to know who you are on the inside, and if you make those little tweaks, those anti-aging things that you can do, the beauty treatments, and it makes you feel good, that's great. But if you're trying to fix something that's broken inside by fixing the exterior, it's never going to work. You're never going to get the result you want. You have to work on the inside first. You have to be happy and joyous about the jobs that you're doing, the tasks that you're doing, who you are as a person, and then everything else kind of flows. If you want to put on a crazy sequined jumpsuit and that makes your day feel a little bit better, then yeah, go ahead, go do it, and go do it, unapologetically. And that's great, that's fun. That's part of, when we were super small and we opened the, grandma's trunk and there was a bunch of clothes and we went and put on the pirate's hat and the dress up. Nothing's really changed. We're still those same little people. We're a little bit bigger, but in essence, we are that being. We are that young person that's experimenting, with the later stages of life. And I think we need to remember that. Stop taking everything and the world so extremely seriously in the sense of judgment or judgmentalness. That's not even a word, but in terms of judgment, and just, have an openness towards life, have a happiness towards life, bring forth a positive energy, and I swear it's going to trickle into everything you do, whether it is starting a business, whether it's your friendships, whether it's your family, your spouse, your relationships. You have to come from a place of positivity, genuineness, grace in everything that you do. And if you kind of start to veer off that path, because I've seen it for myself, I've seen it for my friends and my family, when you get into a zone of negativity, it's going to derail everything that you're doing. You just focus on it. It's like you're isolating your thoughts on kind of going through this negative cycle, and you can't really switch your momentum into that positive trajectory that's going to move you forward. So just really paying attention to how you package yourself, how you are presenting yourself to the world each and every day, and what you're asking for. Really, it's such a simple equation when it comes to life. What you ask for, you'll get. You will get 100 times over. If you ask for a great company and hard work and stuff that's gonna inspire you each and every day, and you work diligently towards that, that's absolutely what you're gonna get. You're gonna struggle, yeah, you're gonna trip and you're gonna fall, but if you get back up and that's where you're going, that's what the universe is gonna create for you. Now, you're sitting at home and you're drinking and, chatting on Tinder and doing all of these things that really amount to a lot of nothing. You're chatting to all these, people of the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever it is, and nothing is genuine, or nothing really spins back to that long-term passion going towards something, whether that is a long-term relationship with a spouse, or creating something positive for your life. If you don't have a goal, you're basically just like a pinball going all over the place. And so I think it is really a great time, now that we have this downtime, to really sit back and reflect on who we are, who we want to be, and what we want to create in our lives. This ability to just pause, it's like this beautiful kind of silence that's come over the world. And certainly it's, it is a pandemic, and there are some really tough, difficult things that a lot of families are going through. So I don't want to be callous in the sense when I'm talking about the beautiful silence. There are people that are in pain and that have, are ill and have gone through tremendous loss at this time. And, that's a difficult thing. But for those that, are really on a reset or a pause, take this time and look at who you want to be. Who do you want to be when the world opens back up? And are you taking those steps each and every day to create that? What do you want to do with the next 20, 30, 50 years of your life? And are you setting those stepping stones right now today? Are you sitting there watching back-to-back episodes of whatever is on Netflix? I mean, how can you ever create something that you're going to be proud of if you're watching somebody act out a scenario that's not even real? Or, the Tiger King. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. I certainly will put on my 30 minutes of I guess, like, guilty pleasure TV in the evenings as well. But I'm going to absolutely make sure that I put in that 10 to 15 hours of really hard work every day, so that, when I actually sit down, my butt, my sparkly sequin butt on the couch, that, I'm really enjoying just, again, the quiet time and feeling proud about the day. I've seized the day. I've done something that I'm excited about. I feel that energy. And then, I almost kind of dread going to bed, but it's like, okay, the day is over. I'm going to kind of set my intentions before I go to sleep. I'm going to dream of all of the exciting things that I want to happen. I really love that lucid dreaming process, where I just imagine all of these things just culminating and springing up from the ether of what is out there, the possibilities. And then, it's crazy. Your alarm will bing at like 5 in the morning, and it's, the world is quiet, and you just know that you get that leap on the day, that you're going to go and do something that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be. So I just, I really want to just inspire you to be the best that you can be. Have that courage. Don't live in fear right now. Don't live in anger. I know, obviously, I hail from the great white north, Canada, but one of the things that is the most beautiful aspect of, I feel, Canadian culture that could really, really be infused in the rest of the world right now is our love for multiculturalism. And I can tell you, I grew up with this beautiful mixing pot of every type of person, every culture, and for me, and I think a lot of Canadians, we don't see color, we don't see differences. We see this group of friends that we all are together. We're in this. We don't care where you come from, who, what your past is. You just come into our beautiful, wild northern country, and you're one of us. And it's such a beautiful spirit. I love the fact that, we don't have a lot of guns up here. We don't think about those kind of things. We're not violent. When we think of the people around us, we're here to help. We're a helping type of culture. We're a loving type of culture. I personally, I don't see any need for racism. I've never understood it. When I step back and somebody throws a racist comment out there, I'm just like, it's almost like I'm a deer in the headlights. I'm like, what? Like, it's the 21st century and you still think that? Like, maybe back like 100 years ago, and I know it exists. Like, I'm not being silly about this. I know that there are some people that really have or harbor those feelings, and you can even call it hatred. I don't understand it. Each and every person that I've ever met that, is from a different cultural background, it's so enriching, it's so cool to meet them and see like the art behind their culture and you know what interesting people they are and the diversity. I just love the diversity. So I think that that's something that we could really focus on in the reset, is just how do we want to reset our moral compasses? You know, where is it going to lie? Where, you know, do we open up the doors and they fling open and are, you know, it's love and it's camaraderie and we're going to rebuild this world together?